Hey everybody, welcome to the Head Startup. On today's video, I want to talk about the most common question that I've got since I started making these videos. And that is, do the tax authorities get informed about all those lovely dividends and lovely profits that you make on your investments if you don't report them?
Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know.
Who said that? So that's what I'm going to focus on today. I'm going to do a bit of a deep dive on this to see what actually happens. So those of you who are old enough will remember the 2008 financial crash.
Because we're now down 43%.
What in the world is happening on Wall Street?
Two-year no yields went from 190 to 166 in the blink of an eye.
On the NASDAQ, everything and more has been completely wiped out.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
From the financial capital of the world, the opening bell is going to ring in 5 seconds, and to be honest with you, we wish it wouldn't.
In the years following that crash, the tax take for many governments really plummeted. We had sky-high levels of unemployment, and also the interest rates that governments were borrowing at were really expensive. Governments in places like Ireland, where I'm from, raised taxes, but this still wasn't enough. So they started going after the tax dodgers, which they didn't really do in the past, as they didn't have the tools to do it. But due to accelerations in technology, big data, and the information age, this made their ambition a lot more achievable. Governments all over the world came together and started making agreements to share financial information about their residents. So now I'm going to talk about two of the biggest agreements in the world that really govern this share of information. The first one up is the American legislation, which is called FACTA, which is the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. So this governs all US residents and the share of information to the IRS in the US. So aside from the US, over 100 countries came together and made a common reporting standard. So these are most of the countries that would be in the OECD. So the CRS, the Common Reporting Standard, is the most common one that you will be dealing with if you were a European, for instance. Both of these standards cover all types of financial institutions, like your banks, like your pension firms, like your investment houses. So under these standards, these financial institutions are obliged to report information about non-residents in the country to their local tax authority, and then this local tax authority will send this information to that person's home country's tax authority. So when and how is this information actually exchanged? So let's have a look at Irish financial institutions here for a second. So Irish financial institutions must report the details of these accounts to Revenue by the 30th of June each year. Revenue will exchange this information with the jurisdiction of the tax residence of the account holder by the 30th of September each year. So normally 9 months after the tax year, they will have to have informed that person's home tax authority. And the next important thing to also consider is what information is actually sent to your tax authority. So I have a list here that I will just go through, which is pretty comprehensive. So as we can see here, it is the account holder's name, address, and his tax identification number, the jurisdiction of tax residence, the date of birth, the name and identifying number of the financial institution, the gross amount of interest paid on deposit accounts, the gross amount of dividends, the gross amount of interest paid to the account, the gross amount made from the sale of an asset held in the account balance at the reporting date, and any closure of any accounts. So pretty much all the details that they need are really given over to them once a year. So there probably is a common misconception going around that the tax authorities don't really know what actually happens with your investments. But there's a fairly high chance that they have access to these kind of records of what you're doing with your investments. And if you look at any of the policies of any of the common brokers in Europe, so let's have a look at the Giro here, for instance. I'll have a look at the policy. They also mention the CRS and the FACTA in their policies. So they abide by this and they explain how they actually share it with your local tax authority. So all of these retail brokerages are actually abiding by these laws as well. So I hope I haven't burst anybody's bubble, but the best thing you can possibly do is just do your return every year, just so you have peace of mind and you're not always worrying about something coming down the line. So best of luck with the investing, and thanks for watching. And if you did enjoy the video and want to see more content like this, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel and like the video.